All right, we are with our last candidate here today for this event. Welcome. Introduce yourself to the good folks.
Hello there, everyone. My name is Sarah Shydale, and I'm currently running for Statehouse District 97.
97, where is that?
Well, we're currently sitting in it, I believe. It contains Monument Circle west to about halfway to the airport, and then down south to Garfield Park.
Okay, so this is one of these districts that is in Indianapolis, of which there are several, and that's just kind of the way our state legislature works. This is where all the people are at, so we got lots of districts here.
Yep, it's near west and near south side, I'd say.
All right, fantastic. Yeah, it's really a stark contrast between the districts in Indianapolis and how it's like, oh, it's a couple neighborhoods that represent the same number of people as, like, say, I talked to Ben Davis in State House District 13 a while ago, which is a large rural chunk of the state. And it's certainly got to be easier to travel from event to event in your district than it is for someone like him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to the west frontier from where I live, I want to say it's maybe 10 streets. I mean,
population density, pass it around. So, listen, what inspired you to jump into politics, to get in this race, to throw your hat in the ring, and for State House specifically?
Well, I wanted to make a difference. I've worked for the state in several different roles for about 4 years now, and I feel like I want to make a more direct impact, and I want to actively help uplift the constituents of my district and everyone across the state, and through better policy than what we're currently getting right now.
Yeah. Positive policy outcomes have not been the purview of our Republican supermajority for the last 20 to 30 years now. We continue to backslide on all of the things that really matter to Hoosiers. So, one of the things we've talked about with everybody here today is just humanizing our candidates. A lot of times you see this cult of personality built around our politicians, for good and bad, right? And we put folks on pedestals or we demonize them, but everybody's a regular person. What is something that you have struggled with personally that shapes you and shapes the way you think about politics?
Well, thinking about my life story and that, I mean, I was abused growing up, which is part of the reason why I'm such into social work. I work for the Family Social Services Administration and for DCS. I want kids to have a better life than I did, for one thing. And I am, of course, transgender, and I want to, provide a voice for those individuals in my district and for everyone across the state, because I feel like we do not have a voice right now, especially with that terrible, terrible bill that's been circulating through the State House. I think it's SB 182, I think.
That's the one.
Yeah. And the fact that exists is horrible. And I wish I could be in the chamber to bring a different perspective to things, even if my Republican colleagues wouldn't really want to listen.
In a lot of spaces, you hear nothing about us without us, right? And be it the Black community or the Jewish community or any other community of interest that has been historically marginalized, and they're debating your very existence in this room without any transgender lawmakers. That's kind of insane.
It is insane. It's unfair. I mean, especially since we haven't done anything to deserve this kind of marginalization, because it's like the bathroom ban is just the start. And the idea of how you even enforce that in the first place, there is no non-invasive way to enforce that.
Right.
And it's not going to just affect us either. It's going to affect cis people as well, which is something that they're not even thinking about, because this entire piece of legislation is just built on hate and nothing else. And I feel like if there was a transgender representative in the House or the Senate for that matter, the tone might be a little bit different, because part of the problem I've seen with being transgender and like relating to those who aren't is that the fact that most people have never, at least never realized that they're in the same room with a trans person.
Mhm.
They've never talked to them. They've never related to them on a personal level, and they don't. And they've been programmed with this idea in their heads about what we are. Some like terrible images from Fox News and the internet at large paints us as like these demonic figures, but we're people, and we want the same respect that everyone else has. And I feel like it's not too much to ask and not too much to fight for in the house itself.
Yeah, 100%. Heavy stuff. Let's take a breather. Let's do a fun one. If you were a fictional character, which fictional character would you be? Or maybe if you don't want to go there, which fictional character would you like to be?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. It's fun, now that like you're my last interview today. We've had a couple Lord of the Rings characters. We've had a couple Star Trek characters, and then a couple superheroes. So interesting. This is the one that people, I think, get tripped up on the most. Like they really think about it. It's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that one. I wanted to debate a serious policy. So one of the things we were talking about is the way these legislators in the state house now are debating your existence or debating things without someone like you there. And maybe having a transgender legislator in the house would maybe give some of these folks pause, like, oh crap, that's like my colleague. So how do you view interpersonal relationships with your fellow colleagues, in the state house, potential colleagues, whether across the aisle with Republicans or with, between other Democrats? How do you view that relationship building aspect of legislature?
Well, I feel like it's going to be an uphill battle. That's for one thing. But it goes back to my point before, where most of these people have never even met another transgender person at all. They have no idea what to expect besides what they've been told. So the thing I would want to do is be the best example I could be, kind, personable. I'd want to come forward myself and say, hello, this is me. This is who I am, and like inviting people out to lunch and like, having one-on-ones with my fellow Democrats and especially the Republicans, because I am convinced that not every Republican in the House would hate my guts. I think I could bring a good amount of them around by showing them that we have humanity and that we are not just a terrible thing to be feared, I think.
And on their end, they're not all monsters. Like a lot of these guys, if you look at a guy like Ed Clear, who announced he is not running for re-election this year. He's going to run for mayor of New Albany next year as an independent. This guy's a Republican who's been one of the good ones, right, over his term in office. And I think there are others like him in there who are afraid to have individual opinions that diverge from the party consensus. I mean, you see what happens to them. They ran him out of town.
Yeah.
But there are others, and I think with enough of them, it'll reach critical mass. Be like, no, we're not going to do things this way anymore. So,
well, especially since, and not to interrupt you, but especially since I feel like we share some common goals, because like conservatives or Republicans at least are in theory supposed to be for the working class, for the working man and everything. And this election, I'm focusing very heavily on the working class. I want, a better life for those who have it the hardest. And that's what we all should be working towards. And I feel like we can kind of like, collaborate with that.
That's what we should be doing, right? That's why you're there in the state house, is to make things better for your constituents, to improve folks' lives, right? Theoretically.
Theoretically.
So, I guess whether it is in the legislature or in your career or in life, what legacy do you want to leave when you're old and gray and looking back on your life?
I want the world to show that I made a measurable impact. I want people's lives to be better, and I want and even if my name is partially forgotten to be in the future because nothing ever stands the test of time fully, I want to make sure that I left the world a better place than it was when I got here. And it would I could not be happier if I had made that goal, especially if people are living more comfortable lives and people are safer at work and their kids are being educated in a respectful manner and everything like that. It's the fact that even if you won't be remembered for it, you still know that you did it. That really matters.
It's like planting a fruit tree that you will never eat the fruit from, right?
Exactly.
Well, if folks like what they hear, they want to get involved with your campaign, either by volunteering or donating their talents or donating financial resources, where can folks learn more about you and your campaign?
Well, I have a website. It's sarahshydale.com. That's SarahShydale.com. It's going to be going through a bit of a facelift in the next week while I work on retooling things before I start walking. But that has my ActBlue account linked to it. That has my volunteer sign-up sheet. And it has all my socials at the bottom.
Very good. Well, Sarah Shydale, thank you for being here with us today, and best of luck on the campaign.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.